passport holders. Also some civilians who are critically injured. So the next few days will be tense. As the fighting escalates, Gaza has lost access to its communication. Hospitals are in crisis mode, they're running out of fuel, and to complicate matters further, the Houthis from Yemen have entered this war. Like I said, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, they have declared war on Israel. And it's not just empty words, they're backing it with action. The Houthis fired rockets and missiles at Israel. The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, shot them down. Now this development is very important because until now, it was Israel yes, Hezbollah rockets being fired, but it wasn't an official declaration of war.
With the help of God, Aramco has launched a large barrage of ballistic missiles as well as a significant amount at various targets of the territories. It affirms the consideration for carrying out qualitative strikes as goals until the implementation of the
You look at that, whoa.
Are they joining this war? How is Israel responding? And what are the Let's start with the first. The Houthis are a Muslim based in Yemen. The country is located right towards Saudi Arabia. There is a civil war going on in Yemen as we speak. The Houthis on one side and the UN recognized government on the other. The government is backed by a number of parties. Chief among them are the United States and Saudi Arabia. They back the government.
Could the US conquer Russia on its own?
Are fighting.
To answer that, we need to take a closer look at both countries' militaries.
In fact, their slogan should sum it up.
And get clear on who is the bravest and the baddest armed force out there. Starting off with a deep dive, let's talk about nuclear power. Here's the thing. We need to accept that comparing US and Russian military power will have to exclude the use of nuclear weapons by either side. Why? Well, the US and Russia have roughly equal parity in nuclear warheads,
and they have the weapons.
Reportedly 5,900
Take a look at their arsenal.
total
Reports say
operational
the
nuclear
bulk
warheads
of
for
it
Russia
is the
and
Burkan missile.
5,400 for the US.
Its range is
Included in
around
these
1,200
stockpiles,
kilometers.
yet it's a tie. Russia
Just
and
enough
the
to
US
strike
each
Israel.
have about 1,600
Then you have the Badr
active
P-1
deployed
rockets, range of
strategic
150
nuclear warheads.
kilometers. They
However,
also have
these
precision-guided
numbers are
rockets
just
and
best
anti-ship
guesses,
missiles.
since neither
And the
country
Houthis
will
do not
confirm
hide
nor
any
deny
of
their
this.
active nuclear forces, and only
look at their
rarely will they
military parade
confirm
in
where such
September.
weapons are being kept.
Their arsenal was on
It's
full
scary to be
display,
kept in
which
the dark
brings
on
us
this
to the
topic,
second
right?
question.
Well, it gets scarier.
Why are they
Apparently,
joining this war?
Russia claims to have a
When the
working
Houthis are
dead-hand
rooted in
system
the
in
Shia
place,
sect of Islam.
also known as the perimeter
And who is the
system,
biggest
that will
Shia power?
automatically launch Russia's
Iran.
nuclear forces.
Tehran
if the
has been
attempted
accused
first
of
strike
arming
is
and
launched
funding the
to
Houthis.
decapitate Russian
They're
leadership.
part of
While
the
the
axis
system
of
is supposed to be
like the
offline
Hezbollah
under
in
normal
Lebanon,
circumstances,
the Hamas in
it's
Gaza.
not clear when Russia has this system set to on. It's quite likely that
Iran
since
gave approval
2014,
for this
during Russia's
strike,
earlier
for them
invasion
joining
of
the war.
eastern Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula,
It's
this
unlikely
system
that
may
he's
have been
made this
continually
decision
online
without
in
invading
order
the
to prevent a decapitating first
Question number
strike by
3.
US forces.
How is
It
Israel
gets
responding?
worse. Putin
Well, the
apparently
IDF is
placed
more than
Russia's
capable of
entire
handling the
nuclear
Houthis. On
forces on
Tuesday,
high
they shot
alert
down
in
Houthi
February
drones.
of
They also downed
2022, following the
unidentified
invasion of
objects
Ukraine
over the
and
Red
NATO
Sea.
and the
Chances
West's
are those
response to
Houthi
support the
missiles.
defenders. There's
Israel
no
has also
indication
deployed
that the high
missile
alert
boats to the
status has
Red
been revoked.
The US
In
also
fact,
has
as of
military
March
assets.
29,
In fact, one of them
2023,
shot down
President
Houthi
Putin
drones
has
last
announced that
month.
Russia will no longer
So
give
Israel
advance
is
warning
taking
of their
all
nuclear weapons
precautions.
tests. Following their
But
February
the idea
announcement that they
seems
would
clear
no
about
longer
one
allow
thing.
the US to
Houthis
inspect
or not,
their nuclear
their
weapons
focus
sites
is
as
still
part
on
of the
Gaza.
decades-old START weapons treaty. With all these
There are many actors in the region who operate
place,
as Iran
let's shift gears and take a look at other
proxies,
aspects of
such
the
as the
US and
Houthis who
Russian
are trying to
militaries.
challenge us
Who do you think
and
has the
distract
best
us from the
army,
war in
budget,
Gaza.
and weaponry?
We remain
The short
focused.
answer is
We are focused
there
on the
really
war
is
in
no
Gaza.
comparison.
We will know how
The
to
US
defend
military is
ourselves
currently vastly
when needed.
superior to anything Russia can muster. Everything we've seen from
Like
the
I said, the
invasion of
idea is more
Ukraine
than
so
capable.
far shows that
The
the Russian
Houthis know
army,
this.
navy, and
So
air
this
force have
declaration
been
of war is more
completely
political than
overrated by
military.
Western
It does not
allies
tip the
and
scales
have been
against
handled
Israel.
expertly
But
by
it does
Ukraine's
send a warning,
outnumbered
because the IDF
defenders.
can handle
What's
the
left
odd
of Russia's
missiles from
once
Yemen.
vaunted military is being
But
chewed
can
up
they handle
faster than they
missiles
can replace
from
them.
Yemen,
But it wasn't
Syria,
always this way.
Lebanon, and
During the
Iraq?
Cold War, the Soviet Union
And that's
and
the
the US
threat
had
that Iran
roughly equal
brings.
conventional
They have
forces,
proxies
at
like
least in
Houthis
numbers.
all over
The
Syria. If
USSR had
all
an
of them join
advantage
this
in
war,
raw numbers of
it will be
tanks and
trouble.
artillery. especially in the areas bordering Western Europe and its NATO member countries, while the US had a larger and more advanced Air Force, Navy and Special Forces.
Yemen is
Since the
located
breakup of the
to
Soviet
the south
Union in
of Saudi Arabia.
1991, the two
So
sides
any
have
Houthi
grown
missile
slowly and
crosses
dramatically
Saudi
apart. In
airspace
terms
to
of the
fly over
sophistication of their
Saudi
tanks
Arabia
and
and Jordan
aircraft,
into
the
Israel. That's the
reliability of their
shortest route.
state-of-the-art weapon systems,
But what
and
if
their
the missiles
respective
fail?
capability to
What
project
if they
power
land on
into other
Saudi Arabian
regions
territory?
and spheres of influence.
We asked
For example,
because it
Russia
happened
currently has only
In
one
20
working aircraft carrier, an older fuel oil-burning ship launched in 1985, named the Admiral
2019, Houthis
Kuznetsov,
claimed an
which,
attack
lucky
on
enough,
Saudi
was built
Arabia.
in
Around
Ukraine.
half of
This
their
ship
oil
has suffered
output
a
was
string of
temporarily
serious
stopped.
accidents, from shipboard fires to
We cannot
repair
pull out
cranes
the
falling on its flight
Oye,
deck.
Moscopino,
When it does
arrival
travel,
in
it
Saudi
never
Arabia.
sails far from its
So
home
the
port without a
spillover risk
seagoing
is
tug
very
to
real.
tow back home.
The US
It
could
is
get dragged
even
in.
in
The
current
Saudis
deployment,
could get dragged
having
in.
been in different dry
And
docks
Iran could
undergoing
emerge
continual
from
repairs
behind the
since
scenes.
2018, and is known to leave an incredibly dark trail of dense smoke.
All
due
this
to
puts
their
the world
inability
in a
for its
tough
boilers to
spot.
fully burn its
Inevitably,
low-grade
lines
fuel.
will be
The
drawn,
whole ship is
camps
an
will be
embarrassment to the
created.
world's
Tonight, we are
navies,
looking
yet it's
at
the
where the
largest
global
capital
south
ship
stands,
Russia
the
still has
so-called
up front.
developing
So
world.
they'll do anything to try and keep
How
them
do
going.
they see the
You might see it back on the
Israel-Hamas
high
war? Where do
seas
they
in
stand?
2024. Maybe.
They see
In
this war
comparison,
through
the
many
United
factors,
States is completing its
like their own
second
history
carrier
of
in the
colonial
Ford class,
oppression,
the most advanced
their opposition
and
to
largest
Western double
aircraft carrier
standards,
class in the
and of
world.
course,
The US
their
Navy currently
current
operates
policies.
11 carrier strike groups,
Among them,
each of which
Latin
is built
America
around a
stands out.
nuclear-powered
Countries that
carrier.
clearly pick
Each of
the
these strike
side,
groups incorporates
and that
multiple
side is
ships
not Israel.
that includes Aegis
Take
class
Bolivia, for
carriers,
example. Their government has
nuclear-powered
decided to cut
submarines,
all
destroyers,
diplomatic ties with
minesweepers,
Israel.
and additional support and resupply ships.
Based on its principled stance of respect towards life, Bolivia has decided to break diplomatic relations with the Israeli state in repudiation and condemnation of the aggressive and disproportionate Israeli military offensive taking place in the
These carrier
Gaza
strike
Strip,
groups allow the
which
US to
threatens
patrol the world's
international peace
oceans
and
and project
security.
air power far from the US mainland. Russia has no
Now there is
diplomatic
history here.
capability.
Bolivia
Like
did the same thing in
the same
2009 as well.
inequality exists
Israel
in their
invaded the
respective
Gaza
air
Strip, so
forces,
Bolivia
and it's
cut off
only
ties.
widening.
And now
the
we're
US
seeing
has
a
both
repeat
the
of that.
F-35 and
But it's not just
F-22
Bolivia.
fifth-generation stealth
Chile and
fighters.
Colombia have
Russia's
pulled out
only
ambassadors
close to,
from
but
Israel
not
too.
quite fifth-gen
Chile is
fighter,
accusing
the
Israel
Su-57,
of breaking international
can't
law.
deploy over Ukraine
Colombia went
for fear
one
of being shot
step
down.
ahead.
Meanwhile,
Their
the
president
US is
compared
already
Israel to
making progress
neo-Nazis.
on the NGAD, the
Now,
next
Colombia
generation
may be an
air
extreme
dominance
case,
system,
but the overall
which includes
sentiment
new
in Latin
weapons,
America is
advanced
clear.
sensors,
They want
networking
Israel
and
to
battle
stop the
management
attacks, to
suites,
declare a
redesigned
ceasefire
jet
now.
engines, and innovative combat
Even the
drones
major Latin
that will be
American
designed
powers
around a
agree.
truly
Like
groundbreaking
Brazil.
sixth-gen
Their
fighter to
president,
replace
Lula
the
da Silva, recently
F-22,
called
which,
Netanyahu
even though it's been
insane.
replaced,
Listen to this.
still remains the best dogfighting combat aircraft in
What we
operation.
have is the
US
insanity
Navy
of
is
the Prime
also
Minister of
working on a
Israel
sixth-gen
wanting to end
carrier-based
the Gaza
stealth
Strip,
fighter under
forgetting
the
that there are not
current
just
program
Hamas soldiers there.
F/A-XX.
There are women there and there are children who are the great victims of this war.
So why is Latin America against Israel? Before we answer that, let's look at some data. We analyzed the recent UN General Assembly vote on the Gaza ceasefire. 120 countries voted for it. They voted for a ceasefire. The resolution was adopted. But here's how each country voted. These are countries that voted for a ceasefire. Look where most of them are. South America, Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia. What we usually call the global south. Now look at the countries that voted against. Some in Eastern Europe, also the United States, and finally the abstentions. We have most of Western Europe, also some holdouts in Asia, and India and the Philippines.
Also known as the
Now the overall picture is quite clear. The global south wants a ceasefire. Most of them are against Israel. The question is why?
Mid-2030s. Then there are the respective tank forces.
One is the history. The global south was a victim of colonialism. They have experienced occupation and discrimination firsthand. So many of them relate to Palestine.
But the Abrams has been
their decades of
since
suffering.
the first Gulf War in 1990.
Let me show you some pictures from Cape Town in South Africa. It was a massive pro-Palestine rally.
M1 and 2 system
Yes,
enhancement
really.
package version 4.
The grandson of Nelson Mandela.
Employ third generation
He drew
3Gen
parallels between his own
FMIR,
country and
forward-looking
Palestine.
infrared
Listen to what he
advanced
said.
optics that allow Palestinians to identify and attack targets farther away than ever before. Of course, Russian fanboys will point to the much vaunted T-14 Armata as the best tank in the world, except where to begin. The tank was designed around the NE-85 3
Reason number
engine,
2.
a copy of an
Their
X-shaped
priority.
German
The
engine,
global
which was
south
never
cannot
designed for tank
afford to
propulsion.
play big
The
power
tank's
politics.
electronics and computer
They're more
controls
pressing
suffer
issues
from
like
a lack
fighting
of advanced
inflation and
computer chips, which
So
under
their
Western
response to
sanctions
most wars
has
is
been
the
a
same.
real Achilles
Stop it.
heel. for the Russian economy.
Just consider
Captured
Russia's war on
drones
Ukraine.
showed
The
they are so
UNGA passed a
desperate for
similar
computer
resolution
chips that they
asking for the
resorted to
Russian
using
withdrawal.
stolen Swedish
And how does the
traffic
global
cameras
south
for their
vote?
guns.
The same.
Without a consistent
Around
supply of computer
141
chips, there's no
countries
way
oppose
Russia
Russia.
can mass-produce
It
the
doesn't mean they have
Armata.
cut
That wasn't
diplomatic
bad enough.
relations with
The
Moscow.
production
It
company
means
for the
that
Armata,
when given a
NZ,
choice,
is busy upgrading
they
previously
wanted to end the war.
mothballed T-62s and
And why
supporting
not?
the overworked
When Russia invaded Ukraine,
T-72,
food prices
and
shot up,
T-90M
and the global
assembly
south
lines.
suffered.
Currently,
Now
any
Israel
Armatas
is attacking
being assembled are
Gaza.
being done by
Iran is
hand,
talking about a
by
wider
hand.
war.
That
Again,
may
it is
work
the
for
global
limited
south
production
that will
Rolls
suffer.
Royces and
Most of them
Lamborghinis,
depend
but it
on
doesn't
West
bode
Asian
well
oil.
for the
If the war
implementation
spills
of a
over,
mass-produced
their
battlefield
import bills
weapons
will shoot
platform.
up.
Without any Armatas in Ukraine,
it's not just
and with a
moral
greater reliance on
compulsion
more
or
outdated,
humanitarian
poorly
principles.
retrofitted
It's also
Soviet-era
their
models,
own
the
economic
Abrams
and
is
political
far and away
situation.
better than the vast majority
And
of the
finally, reason
surviving
number
Russian
3,
tank forces.
a rejection of the
Surviving
existing
because as
world
of March
order. Just think about
2023,
it.
the Russians have
140
lost at a
out
bare
of
minimum
193
an
countries
astounding
wanted Russia to stop attacking
1,900
Ukraine.
main battle tanks.
Yet the war
Everything from the
continues.
upgraded but still
Similarly,
outdated
120 countries
T-72s to
want
around
Israel to
58
cease
of their more
fire,
modern
yet their
T-90s.
attacks
This
continue.
means that more than half of their
What does that
country's
tell you?
entire pre-invasion active
The
tank
existing
force
world
has been
order simply
destroyed or
doesn't make
captured.
sense. So
And
the
this
global
number
south
is
is
only
pushing
what's been
against.
positively
They
verified
see
by
Israel
Western
as an
observers,
extension of
like the
this
Oryx
Western
team of open
hypocrisy,
source
hence the
analysts.
outrage.
According to the London
The Western policy right now is to
Institute for
ignore the
Strategic
global
Studies,
south.
the total could be
For how
anywhere
long?
from 20%
The
to
recent
40%
wars have
higher.
marked the
Russia
emergence
is
of
so
a new
desperate for
political
replacement
bloc.
tanks that they're even
Yes,
bringing
there
in
are
not just the
internal divisions,
T-62s
but
from
the
their
overall
mothballed
message
tank
seems to be
graveyards,
clear.
but
Do
as of
not
March
take us for
23rd, 2023, even some 75-year-old T-54s and 55s. That would be like the US
The bombs
bringing back
falling
its
on
Korean
Gaza are
warrior
leading to damages to
M47
Joe Biden.
and M48
The
patterns.
US president,
Bad news doesn't
he's
stop
got an
there.
ultimatum
Russia
from
has
Arab
also
Americans.
lost around
They
800
won't
infantry
vote for
fighting
him
vehicles,
if he does not
lightly armored
stop
trucks
Israel.
and
No
transports,
ceasefire, no
2,200
votes.
armored
That's their
fighting
message.
vehicles like Bavaria's
And it's a cause of worry for Biden
MPD,
because next year is
BTR
election year.
models,
The stakes are high. It could be a repeat of 2020, a Biden versus Trump contest in America.
300 engineering
And
vehicles,
Arab Americans
190
favored
towed
Biden
artillery
in the
pieces,
past.
370
In 2020,
self-propelled
59% of them said they'd voted for Biden.
rocket launchers,
This month, though, the number is down to 17%, meaning only 17% Arab Americans support Joe Biden.
Honestly, at this point, it's almost
So will
easy
this
to count
Israel
which
policy
tanks and
cost him the
vehicles Russia
presidency?
has left,
Our
rather
next
than try to
reporter.
keep up with the ones they've lost. And again, all of this has happened
United
not
States
against
and
NATO
Israel.
or the
They
US
are friends.
directly, but
They are
against much
allies.
smaller
In
Ukraine.
fact, the
And in
US
just
is
over a
Israel's
year, the
closest
Russian
ally
Air
in the world.
Force, when it's deigned
It's
to
a
make an
relationship
appearance
that has
over the
sustained for
battlefield,
75
has
years.
also suffered
It has seen
unusually
many
high
ups and
casualties.
downs.
It's
Washington
estimated that
has stood
6
with
to 8%
Israel
of
throughout
its active
history,
tactical
and this
combat
time is
aircraft
no
have been
different.
destroyed, including around 15% of its pre-invasion multi-role and ground attack aircraft, including the more advanced Su-30SM and Su-34. Douglas Barry, a military aviation analyst at the IISS, believes at least 20
The US has Israel's back.
aircraft have been
Those
lost,
were Biden's
along with
first
one or two of
words
their
when Hamas
top-of-the-line
attacked Israel,
Su-35s.
and he
And
has
if you're still
followed through.
counting, you
He
can
has
tackle
supported
the
Israel,
minimum of 80
offered
combat
aid and military
helicopters.
support,
Russia's
and even
Navy
visited
isn't
the
doing
country.
any better. In
Washington
April of
is serious about
2022,
its support,
the flagship
and
of the
Biden's
Black Sea
actions
Fleet,
have only
the
proven
cruiser
that.
Moskva, was sunk by Ukrainian
But it
trained
doesn't seem to
tanks,
have gone
where
down
Russia
too
at
well
first
with
claimed
Arab
it was due
Americans.
to a fire
They want
started
the
by
strikes
careless
on Gaza
soldiers.
to stop.
Following
They
that,
want a
the show
ceasefire.
the frigate
And they want
Admiral
President
Makarov
Biden to
assumed
push
the
for
role of
it.
flagship of the Black Sea
But
Fleet.
Biden
But it was
says it's
attacked
not
less
time
than
for
a month
ceasefire,
later, in
and
May of
Arab Americans
2022.
have slammed
It's
him
not
for this.
confirmed, but the
They say they
Makarov might
won't
now
vote
be
for him in the
inoperable.
next election.
All told, the Russian
This
Navy
drop
has
in
lost
support
18
is quite
ships of
dramatic.
various sizes and has had to pull
In
all of its
2020,
ships of any value back
59% of
to the
Arab
Western Black
Americans said
Sea
they would
due
vote
to
for
fears
Biden.
of more air and
This
sea
year, the
driven
number is
attacks.
down to
Not a very good
17%,
showing
and
against a
it could
country
plummet
that
further
officially
as
has
the war
no
drags
navy.
on.
Then there's the overall
This would
troop
worry the
losses.
US
According
president.
to several
To
estimates,
understand
Russia
why,
has lost
let's
as
look
many
at
as
more numbers.
200,000 to
The total population of
270,000
America is
troops,
330
killed,
million.
wounded, or
Out of
missing,
these,
or
around
captured
3
in the
million
invasion
are
of
Arab
Ukraine.
Americans.
And with close
That's
to 2
nearly
million
1%
men
of the
of draftable
population.
age,
It
having left
doesn't
the
sound
country
like
to
a big
avoid
number,
Putin's
but
first
here's why
conscription
it's
in
important.
2022.
In
Those troops
2020,
won't be
over
easily
half of this
replaced.
population
Neither
voted
will
for
the
Biden,
hundreds of trained
and that
pilots
made a
who
huge huge difference in the swing states. The states of Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia.
The first day of the war in the failed attack
In
on the hospital
2016,
airport.
Donald Trump won all of these states, but in 2020,